This episode of XIV Reborn is brought to you by Audible. For a free 30-day trial and to receive a free audiobook, just head on over to audible.com/gamebreaker. What's up, everybody? Welcome to XIV Reborn, episode 24 of XIV Reborn, Final Fantasy XIV show for January 28th, 2014. I'm Gary again, and you're watching Gamebreaker TV. Coming up on today, we're going to talk about Live Letter 12. Starts the patch 2.2 hype. Would a new mount make you play a tank? And the PS4 gets a release date. All that and more. But first, joining us, you know, is Mr. Happy, Mr. Michael Overoma. What's up, sir?
Hello, Mr. Gary. How are you doing?
Excellent. And from multiple Game Breaker shows and sites and things, it's a hobo.
It's very cold here. It's Polar Vortex 2.0.
You Polar Vortex 2.0 over there?
2.1.
A frozen reborn.
A frozen reborn. How cold is it there? What are you, outside? You like a shed? Yes, like a man shed?
We're doing the show live from outside, Gary. Welcome to the Weather Channel. No, it's single digits outside with a negative 20 wind chill. So it's
nice. Throw the kids outside. Let them go play.
I know, right? They're mad at Dad because I won't let them go play. I'm like, you can
look,
play
you
in the
just,
snow,
you
but it's
just
like
took that off.
negative
You have
20 out there.
You just took that off. You have like a T-shirt on. Now you're like in the Bahamas. Like what? Just
right?
So that was a gag.
He's inside now.
He's lying as a prop.
Yeah, we're inside now. We're inside now.
He lives in Cuba.
I do. I live on an island.
All right, Burnsy. So you did your usual live letter write-up on xivnation.com. Mr. Happy, you did your usual video. Before we break it down, what was the overall impressions of the live letter?
Well, some surprises. I think we can agree with that. But as for formatting and how many questions they answered and all that, it almost felt like a giant cliffhanger. More so than you'd think. All the live letters are giant cliffhangers. But the whole fact, I feel like they really wanted to stamp out the fact that this was only a part 1 of 2. I feel like they could have done a little bit more if they weren't in that quote-unquote that live setting that they were deciding to do this time. I feel like the live setting gave it a little bit of personality, but held it back for us at home a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree. And we talked about this a show or two back when we were prepping for the live letter, and we mentioned that it was in Osaka, and I kind of said, well, this is like an away game for them. You know, they're going to be using stuff that they're not used to using as far as streaming and equipment and everything. So we'll probably get a few tidbits, nothing earth-shattering. You know, no huge, oh my God, we didn't see that coming secrets were revealed. But it was nice. But I think the previous one, which we were really, really happy with, Live Letter 11, Live Letter 12 didn't live up for the reasons you were talking about, Mr. Happy. It wasn't so many viewer questions. It seems like they got lost in the shuffle. It was more of the 2 live letters ago where they had an agenda, they rolled through it, and they left, which is fine. Just don't advertise it as a live letter.
Yeah, how did you think about it, too? Because it was advertised as like a 2-part letter, right? Did you get the impression that it was?
This one wasn't advertised. That's the problem, is the last one that they busted into 2 parts. They advertised, hey, guys, we're going to do a part 1 and a part 2. But Mr. Happy's dead on. I felt the same way. It was like, wow, it's almost over. I bet this is going to be like a part 1, part 2 thing. And then they even mentioned that the next one would be part 2, but they didn't advertise it as such. So it was like a huge, we're not done, cliffhanger. Wait for part 2. Wait, we didn't know there was going to be part 2. Don't do that shit.
Actually, they did tell us it was part 1 beforehand. Like before.
No, I'm talking about clear advertising, like they did on the original part 1, part 2 live letter.
On the banner, it does not say part 1. It does.
Yeah,
say live
last
letter.
time they made it real big.
Yeah, maybe people didn't like that.
I didn't.
Okay.
I mean, did see it was kind of, so was it pretty much really just centered around a few different items?
Yeah. Just like a handful of questions, 5, 6 questions on handful of topics. and then a few questions that didn't have to do with Final Fantasy XIV at all.
Yeah, like the entire second half was almost like that. If you go to my write-up, it even says, hey, Tenkai-san is here, Takai-san is here to talk about a bunch of things, but I'm going to leave this write-up only on Final Fantasy XIV. And my second half write-up was this long. There was only like 2 or 3 things that were Final Fantasy XIV related. He started talking about Lightning Returns and graphic effects and all
Last
kinds
Remnant.
of fun stuff. Yeah, Last Remnant, possibly coming to PS4. So yeah, they crammed some weird stuff into the 14 live letter.
Happy, you got some good news though, huh? You got some exciting news. Some emotes, you may be able to use in the future.
There it is.
There you go.
How bad does the community
Hildibrand.
want? How bad does the community want this to happen?
Well, everybody wants Hildibrand emotes.
No,
It's always been that way. Yeah, everybody wants. Are you
How
telling
is
me
it-
you don't want? You telling me when you beat turn 9, you don't want to go in with 8 Humes and have a screenshot of just everybody like this right next to the treasure coffers?
I could live without it. I'm okay. I knew that this was going to make you ridiculously happy too, and this was like one of those real tiny things while they were testing and getting things up and running. They talked about it. I was like, man, that's going to be Mr. Happy's shining moment. It doesn't matter what they do over the next 2 hours. That's his thing. He's going to focus on.
I'm already growing out my hair to slick it back for the fan festival. That's why it looks like a mess
10
right
months. Like 10 months until now.
Yeah.
And we don't even know if it's going to happen yet. It's not concrete.
He's
It's okay.
dedicated, man. He's
I'm dedicated.
He is.
Yeah.
He's dedicated. Not like you. You don't even have your birth certificate.
Yes. That's it.
Can't even
We
find
fight
it.
at this house tonight.
Woman, where's that envelope?
Where's my birth certificate that says Limsa Laminsa? You're what?
What? You're what? Oh, that. Now, what else is going on? You're also going to be, there's going to be a big battle on a big bridge.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum,
Seriously.
bum. No possible idea what that could be. It's just completely clueless.
As if you like couldn't tell from the armor / pants that the figure was wearing at the end of the Hildibrand sequence exactly what was going on. This should give you enough that if you really have no clue, Google Big Battle Big Bridge, and you'll have the answer to what's going to be happening here.
Let's
Say that 5
see.
times fast.
Yeah,
Let's
right?
see. Big battle.
Live test.
Watch it be a porn
Yeah.
site. Yeah,
That's
live-
why I'm not bringing up that's why I didn't bring it up yet. Let's see. Big battle, big bridge, Final Fantasy.
And the first entry is Final Fantasy Wiki.
Good. Could have been worse.
So there you
Actually,
go.
yeah, yep, you can't miss it.
You can't miss it.
Perfecto.
Look, there's even an
Perfecto.
Audible ad in
Look at
there.
Look at that.
that. We'll get
like
there.
it
We'll
knew.
get there. But Yoshi P seemed kind of secretive around this whole thing, huh?
Yeah, except for the fact
Spoiler-free.
that he said big battle, big bridge.
Spoiler
We
free
saw
is the
how
better
secret
word.
That is.
Spoiler free. I mean, the all of 2 people that didn't know what he was talking about there, and now everybody else knows.
Yeah, pretty
Yup.
much.
Gilgamesh. You.
When do
I
we
hope
expect
this isn't
it?
a
Continue
fate.
that.
I really hope this isn't a
Oh,
fate.
you think?
I hope so badly that this is not a fate. I'm getting really sick of all events being tied to fates. I don't know about you, Mr. Happy, but I don't want to see this particular iconic character / battle made into a fate.
No, it's got to be a 4-man instance for 2.2, an 8-man one for 2.4. There we go.
I would be one of the things that I'm actually surprised while we're on this topic, kind of sidebar here, that they're not really using a lot is the whole Guildhest system. There are nice ways to tie that into an event and then just take it out and not have it be an option in there anymore. Something that you can queue for. You don't have 900 people sitting for maybe 20 minutes, maybe 6 hours waiting for a fate to pop because something went wrong in the fate timer and it's overdue and hasn't popped yet. I think there's something they could really take advantage of with the Guildhest part of the queuing and really make some. This would be the perfect battle to do it with, I think. Iconic battle, iconic location, queue it up, go, baby, go. 4, 8-man, however you want to do it. Well, I guess guild has to be mostly 4-man, but you could do 8. Why not?
No, there's 8-man. It's the last.
Yeah, there's a couple of them for the end bar, so the technology's already there.
Oh yeah, they can do it.
Am I wrong, or does everybody just love Fates that much?
No,
I'm okay with them, and I don't like events being tied into them like this.
I think the main thing that I think a lot of people are worried about, including you, is you don't want to be their only trick up their sleeve, right? You want like some variety. It's like okay to use it once in a while, but give us some variety. Don't like
even the way they did Chimera and Hydra. I'd welcome that. Just like those whole you walk into an area when you have the quest flagged and that area becomes a battlefield kind of thing. Yeah. I would be okay with that. Yeah. That's something they've already shown they can do, even though they're undoing it. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. But right, I just think do something else. No Fate, especially for this. Please, no Fate.
Before we get into the patch 2.2 stuff, they talk a little about the upcoming 2.16. So I don't want to spend a ton of time on this. Let's do like a lightning round. Where I'll just kind of bang through these, and then you guys can kind of give your take on it. So whether you like them or not. So Retainer Bell and Revenant's Toll.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Ability to mark market board items for later purchase.
Cool. When the market boards are more useful, that'll be great.
Yeah, I think that's a really nice way to mark things that you constantly buy, so that you don't have to keep searching for them. That's thumbs up.
Burn, I think you love this one. Random minion call feature.
Yes, hell yes. In 4 days from now, I will have every minion in the game except for the 270-day veteran reward one, because I've paid for 8 months and not 9, so I'm assed out for the next 3 months on that one. All because I couldn't pay on time initially on my very first payment because the system was broken. It's Square Enix's fault. I don't have all the minions. Damn it.
Damn you.
You shut up, Happy. You and your Allegan bow. Congrats, by the way. Congrats.
Thank you.
Chimera and Hydra added to the duty finder.
Just as I was saying, they're undoing the one thing we said they could do again, and I would be happy with it. I'm indifferent. It helps. Relic Quest is pretty old at this point. It's making it more accessible can only be a good thing.
Yeah, I think I'm working on my 4th or 5th relic, and everybody that's like in our tier and Happy's tier, it really doesn't matter. So yeah, go ahead. And it makes it easier for people that are just getting there.
The ability to swap a weapon into a gear set if you sold or destroyed the weapon already in it.
Yes.
A little bit late, but I'm glad
that was needed
at some point.
Yes, that's a fantastic idea. It's about time.
How about this one? Die preview window.
Great, when we can dye the gear that we actually wear at Endgame, I'll love that.
I'm okay with the die preview window. I really want a gear preview window so I can see what I'm looting, and I also want the stat compare window to be better. Right now, it only compares the core defense or attack stats. It doesn't compare the secondary stats like your accuracy and whatnot. So I'd like a better stat compare window next. But this is a step in the right direction, I guess.
The ability to mark the ground with 3 different marks.
Should have been there at launch. Thumbs up.
Yeah, another thumbs up.
Face the camera button for screenshots.
Okay. I don't take screenshots where I need that precision, but that's okay. If you do, I'm sure you like it.
Weather effects on armor. So now your gear, gets wet when it's raining.
Thumbs up. Feel like that's getting ready for the DX11 update, whenever that might be, when we hear about it, whenever.
Yep. So it sounds like 2.6 is going to add quite a few new, features, a lot of quality of life things. Sounds like a pretty solid patch.
Yep. It's more than anybody. Everyone was just expecting to go right from 2.15 to 2.2. And I almost feel like they're looking a little bit at the feedback that the community has given. A lot of people have asked, can't you break up some things into the smaller patches so we don't have to wait for the big patch for them? And this looks like their first sort of stride at attempting to do those kind of things, giving us little quality of life updates that are a little bit more than we get with those 0.05 updates that we've been seeing. I don't think they originally intended to do a 2.16 because it really, going right from 2.1 to 2.15 to 2.16 almost feels like it wasn't even planned initially. But I'm glad that they're showing us they're willing to do them in these small patches.
Yeah, I agree. The numbering system shows you that their versioning was not ready to do this, but they're going to go ahead and do it because it's a bad version number to jump to. I think, though, what might have triggered this was we have the PlayStation 4 beta launching. Let's get something for everybody to be pumped about that date and not just PlayStation 4 owners. So I don't know if it was so much let's break things, but it was let's get something for everybody on February 22nd. That way it's not just PS3 and PS4 players that are looking at what we're doing in February.
What did you guys?
All in
What
all,
did you guys
thumbs up.
Thumbs up. What do you guys think of the title? Through the Maelstrom.
That
Sure.
art was really cool.
Yeah, it was.
I was really happy with that art. I mean, without a doubt, that art is always focused not on necessarily the hardest content, but on what the main story is going to be bringing for us. And now I'm just hyped for more main story content, especially after the last promise.
Which
this also made me pretty
They
hyped.
hid all the story, by the way. Like last time, we had a big cues on where the story was going as we prepped for 2.1. They hid all of that so far. Now, whether they're going to go into more detail in 2.2, I'm sorry, in part 2 of this live letter, I don't know. But yeah, the story is totally a question mark right now, which I'm kind of digging. I hope they leave it that way.
This Leviathan video is looking pretty badass as well.
Yeah, I hope they can make fun, because this is the kind of fight, even if it doesn't turn out to be hard, the setting is epic.
Yeah,
like you can't deny that. Even if the fight ends up not necessarily being like, I think he's going to be easier than Titan, to be honest. I think as long as there's no insta-kill mechanics with the boat in general, he'll be easier for people to achieve than Titan hard mode. But the setting is just amazing. Like the arena is unbelievably impressive.
How many versions? Do we have any idea how many versions of the fight are coming?
Deuce.
Yep.
Getting a hard mode and extreme mode. Hard mode is going to be part of the story. That's the one you're going to be doing for the story. And Yoshi P estimated that by hard mode, they mean after 2 or 3 attempts, you're pretty much going to have the gist of the fight. And then you just need a group to execute it. So he's estimating only a handful of attempts, and you should be able to clear it so that you can push your story forward. But then there's going to be an extreme mode for it as well.
Are summoners going to be able to summon Leviathan?
That was a quick question. That question that came up immediately. They were like, "Oh, Leviathan, can we summon him?"
But the thing is, that question has been around ever since the game came out. Ever since Summoner was first revealed, that question has been on the minds of everybody. When a new summon comes out, does that mean we'll get to summon it immediately? The very quick answer is no. No.
Now, let me ask your opinion on this, Gary and Happy. The reasoning behind it is pretty sound, I guess. It's that they don't want to give summoners a new ability, while not having everybody get a new ability at the same time, all classes. So it's kind of like they're funneling new stuff in for summoners, but not other people. And I could see the rationale there. That's why they're thinking that this would be more an expansion thing or coincide with the level cap raise. So everybody gets new levels, everybody gets new abilities. But I almost kind of like the idea of if a game would do updates to certain classes. I mean, you have to make the schedule pretty consistent, but I kind of like that idea where this one's going to be for summoners, a little something extra for you. This one's going to be for white mages.
Do people then just start making rushes for those classes and then kind of leave their other ones behind just because they keep chasing the hotness?
Well, you would always have that group that always did that, and on day 1 and day 2, I think a lot of people play those new classes.
It's the internet. Everybody complains about everything.
That. I kind of like when there's differences.
Here's the thing that I would like. If I don't mind, because first of all, I can't even imagine what a new Eggy would do. Realistically, what role another Eggy would fill. Like, you have a melee DPS, you have a tank, and you have a ranged caster. What would a new Eggy realistically bring to the party? And some people like to suggest make a support Eggy, but summoners are DPS, so you can't just give them a support unless they're going to be some sort of hybrid in the future. You can't just give them that sort of versatility, more versatility than the job already has on top of that. So if anything, I would have just liked to have seen a system, and maybe sometime in the future when there's more primals in the game, that even if you're not going to expand and give people new Eggies, give people like, okay, Ifrit and Leviathan are both melee DPS Eggies. Choose which one you want to summon. They do the exact same thing, but aesthetically giving people the option to look different, I guess. is something that if they're not going to give them brand new abilities with new summons, I'd like to see some sort of vanity system for the Eggies.
Yeah, and I see chat saying, well, Burn, they'd have to do it all at once to avoid disrupting the balance. Okay, first off, I would say PvP doesn't matter. The whole thing's not balanced anyway, so just cram in whatever the hell you want on that side. PvE, okay, fine, I can see that argument. So do what Mr. Happy is talking about and make it so that, Ifrit and Leviathan have similar ability sets, maybe different animations, different potencies, spread out a little bit, but basically serve the same type of function. I just like the idea of not everything being clockwork. Everybody's going to get new abilities at the same time. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just wishful thinking because I know it is incredibly expensive to develop on that type of cycle.
I do get what you're saying, and I kind of agree with you. And I also I'm type of person that don't really. I kind of almost like when games are a little bit out of balance as well, which I know you're kind of a fan.
Me too.
Of. But most people aren't.
Me too.
Most people are like, no, has to be equal playing field. We all have to be this same playing field, mano y mano. I don't know. All right. Anyway, moving on. The economy, of course, came up. Housing yet again. This keeps coming
Of course.
up. What are the plans to kind of get money flowing again? What are they talking about doing?
New items, new crafting recipes. The same thing they pretty much say in every patch. Like when we went from 2.0 to 2.1, they said, "Oh, there'll be all these new crafting recipes for the housing." That would be great if people were buying houses. And then for 2.2,
exactly.
and then in 2.2, you're going to have new gear, but then people have already seen the way crafted gear was implemented in 2.0, and they're wondering exactly what the extent of its usability is going to be. If it's actually going to open up a new market, if it's going to be a long-running market, and if it's going to be worth investing in to begin with. It's really something we have to wait and see because we only have past impressions to go upon, and a lot of people just think crafting is going to keep falling to the wayside as long as they keep treating it the same way.
Which is kind of unfortunate because I really think that, especially coming from Final Fantasy XI, where crafting played a big part in the economy and was actually a viable way to make money, not so much as now as it used to be, but it was a huge aspect of the economy then. It's just not right now. And the way they're planning to release things, I don't see it. Yoshi P has this idea right now that when 2.2 drops, crafting is going to be the fastest way to get into the newest gear to be able to run the hardest, newest content. And while that's probably the case, it's not going to fix the economy long term. The crafting equipment will be very expensive for the first week and a half until everybody's farmed up enough tomestones and enough of the new tomestone to start gearing through the PvE stuff or the PvP stuff that all of a sudden the crafting becomes worthless. The key here, and Mr. Happy, you said it, man, the key here is housing. Housing is way, way out of whack. And the gil that's in the world is being retained by free companies who are trying to save up mass millions of gil to buy housing, which will in turn allow crafters to sell items to people who want to furnish said houses. Oh, and by the way, the new item that they put in the game, in the Crystal Tower, wasn't able to be sold, nor could the item that you crafted be sold until today when they hotfixed that this morning. So It tells me that they're not even really looking at that if that was a mistake that was made in the initial launch. I don't buy it right now. Housing is the hinge-pin, and we still have about a month or two before it's going to be generally affordable, and even then it's still going to be up there. I like the idea of having something for free companies to work for. I think housing was the wrong thing to do it with.
You think it's just going to shake all out, though, in the end? You think it'll all balance itself out?
Well, it'll all balance itself out, but it's going to be 2.2, 2.3, 2.4 by the time it does.
Right, but
but housing was your big 2.1 feature. You implemented this huge feature. You made a huge deal about it, and when it finally came out, 1% of your player base was able to experience it.
Yeah, but I wonder if there are long-term I wonder if on a long-term strategy, if it works out better the way that it actually, it wasn't acquired the second it came out in the patch. It took quite a while too, but I wonder if that's better for the longevity of the game and the economy.
I would have done it the other way. I would have made housing more affordable so that you could get it, and made the free company really, really work to obtain the things like airships that they're talking about being able to build as part of your housing. So there's other things they've already talked about doing that I think would have made a much better, a less of a hit on the economy and more of a free company based objective that might take you a month, 2 months, 3 months to get to. It's way
Also,
too easy to make things, and then those things don't sell. So you end up with crafters just pumping the market with things because they're really easy to make, and then having to take 200 gil for them because 9 bajillion other people are making them. The things you really can make money on, the housing items, you can't sell because there's not enough people that have houses that are interested in buying it. So the gear is worthless, and making the housing items doesn't do anything for you right now. Crafters are stuck in this little limbo, and the economy suffers as a result.
yeah, and also there's a lack of use for them in PvE, and I mean that in the form of craftable recipes.
Yeah.
Like pretty much what you as you level up, those are the recipes you get. You don't there's never a point where you're out in the world, you're doing a dungeon, and you find this rare recipe that not everybody can make. It's got different itemization than what's available from other sources, and it's something that they can make. Very expensive materials to make it, but at the same time, it makes them unique as a crafter, and it gives them a unique service that not necessarily everybody else can offer in the world. That opens up a bit more in terms of the economy as well, in my opinion. I would like to see it in 2.2, but every time they say recipes, it just doesn't come to mind when it comes to Final Fantasy.
Somebody in chat says they don't think crafting is too easy. Search YouTube for crafting HQ items, and you will find videos that will teach you how to do it 100% without fail. Mr. Happy has one, I think, for what? Anything 80 and above on the durability.
Yeah,
with hasty, you have the hasty touch one, I think.
yeah. I don't even do that's the one that
Yeah.
has the highest risk, like the lowest, not necessarily highest success, but it works for almost everything I do.
All right, some other PvE announcements were made. Let's talk about let's see how these predictions went. First up,
Woohoo!
King Mogomog will be getting an extreme mode fight. The
Yeah,
question is
yeah.
why? Why?
No,
Why?
there's no question as to why. There's absolutely no question. 'Cause
Is anyone going to do
It's
it?
the only one they can make an extreme mode of.
That depends on how hard they make it, where they put it. The problem with the first one is they put it in a place no one cared about. They put it, hey, Garuda, Titan. By the way, there's that guy over there. You can go talk. You can go ask him for some loot if you want.
Right.
No, I'm not going to go over there. I'm going to go in a straight line like you designed the game to go. I'm not going to go in all these tangents to try and get extra gear. Those were tangents, by the way. So if they stick it right alongside Leviathan Extreme in terms of how useful it is, sure, I could see people doing it. Give it different rewards in Leviathan Extreme. Don't just make it weapons that go Kupo, and I'm sure we'll be okay.
We'll see. I don't have a lot of faith that that one's going to be positioned correctly. I have a hard time thinking it's going to be positioned correctly with Leviathan and all the other things that are being put in here and the new coil turns, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Where do you put that one in? We don't know the eye levels on the new stuff, so it's hard to imagine where Mogomog's going to go. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't see myself running this besides the first time so that I can check
Do
off
it.
the achievement for it.
I did it, and now I'm done. There you go.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, I want to talk about these the new dungeon, Amdapur Township. But first, I want to tell you guys about a great deal we got going on with Audible. If you guys have not checked out Audible, now is your chance. Want to hook you guys up with a free 30-day trial and a free audiobook. All you have to do is go to the URL audible.com/gamebreaker. Go over, sign up, make an account, download the app, put it on your iOS or Android device, and pick a free book. And got a doozy. This is a great sci-fi classic. Take a listen. This is Stranger in a Strange Land.
Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert A. Heinlein.
Set in the mood.
Notice: all men, gods, and planets in this story are imaginary. Any coincidence of names is regretted. R.A.H.
R.A.H.
Dedication: for Robert Cornog, Frederick Brown, Philip Jose Farmer. Part
Man,
1.
they don't mess around. They
His
read everything with the
Immaculate
page
Origin.
numbers.
Everything.
Chapter 1. Once upon a time, there was a Martian named Valentine Michael Smith. The first human expedition to Mars was selected on the theory that the greatest danger to man was man himself. At that time, 8 Terran years after the founding of the first human colony on Luna, an interplanetary trip made by humans had to be made in free-fall orbits. From Terra to Mars, 258 Terran days, the same for return, plus 455 days waiting at Mars while the planets crawled back into positions for the return orbit. Only by
The
refueling
show's
at a space
canceled. I'm going to keep
station.
listening to the book. It's more. I'm already sucked into it. Check it out, Stranger in a Strange Land. You can pick it as your free book. Fantastic book. Classic. It's over 16 hours long. Check it out on Audible. Like I said, if you guys not check it out, check it out. Check out Audible. You got nothing to lose. It's a great service. I have been a subscriber for years, long before they were here on Gamebreaker TV, and I'm so glad to have them as sponsors. Just go right now to audible.com/Gamebreaker, sign up, make the account, and choose a free audiobook, and I highly recommend Stranger in a Strange Land. It's a great one. There's tons of other books, sci-fi, fantasy, you name it. Social media, classics, whatever you're looking for, go over, give it a search. There's tons of great books over on Audible. Audible.com/Gamebreaker. Check it out today. So they're sticking to the whole one new dungeon, 2 hard modes every update formula, it seems. And the new dungeon is called Amdapor Township, which I'm curious to find out what you guys and what the community sort of thinks about this, because this is going to send people back to some familiar ruins. And I wonder, are people going to be happy with this?
One major difference between Amdapor Township and Amdapor Keep. One was the keep, and one is the township. One was a castle. This one's a town. That's all we know about it. Like, we got a short little tour about it, but I think even the name is gonna make people a little bit weary until we get to see a
Do you
little bit
work
more
for
about
Square Enix? Because that sounded like the answer they would have given.
it. Yes,
Really? Do we have to go back to Amdapor? Guys,
No,
guys,
no,
guys,
no.
guys. Amdapor Keep is what you guys have been running. That's this big building here. We're talking about Amdapor Township. It's right outside that building. Totally new. I kind of like the idea of experiencing some of that lore, though, because the whole Numidian thing, there's a lot of stuff that happened there. So I'm excited about it, yeah. But, you know, as long as I don't have to grind it 900 times like we did the Keep in 2.0, I'll be all right with Township.
Hard mode versions of Halatali and Brave Flox's Long Stop are on the way as well. Sounds familiar.
I believe I have heard those names tossed around as a hard mode before. Have you, Mr. Happy?
I believe I have as well.
Mr. Happy tweeted me the second this happened, too. The second Reinhardt typed it out and we saw the names, there was a tweet with @MagicMan1 in it that was like, we're pretty good at predicting hard mode dungeons. Yes, we did that one too. So we were like 2 for 2 splitting them, and we're doing well.
It's funny because I gave up one of my original ones for 2.1 but I still feel like Sestasha would have made so much sense this patch. Like, I'm a little bit disappointed we didn't get a hard mode Sestasha. Plenty of room to make that a hard mode with Leviathan, but
yes, but see, that's the Keep. This is the township.
This is the township.
This is different.
Totally different, man. Some old dungeons are getting tweaked a bit too, as well. Some people thinking content was
Pharaoh Sirius. People hated that siren fight at the end, and I guess the stats kind of showed that not only was the fight a little harder, but the reward was not commensurate with how hard the fight was, and so they're gonna tweak difficulty / drops on a couple different things where they feel players are kind of getting ripped off by putting a ton of work into it and not quite getting a reward that matches the work.
Yeah, it almost seemed like they were opting to not reduce the difficulty like they did with AK, and instead increase the reward. Which I'm all for that approach because, people have already gotten used to the dungeon. Why not sort of have it reflect that, the difficulty reflect the reward a little bit instead of going one way. You can go the other way and retain the dungeon's initial form.
I agree. And there's enough bullshit going on right now with so many people upset by what's going on with Coil, which we're going to get to, and they don't like the idea of things being nerfed. I agree. It's better to up the reward a little bit.
So obviously new dungeons, new gear, new tombstone in 2.2.
Yay! More things
do you guys
to farm.
I mean, do you guys see that as the team pretty much locks FF into pretty much a vertical progression game at this point?
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Which is kind of sad to see. I mean,
I was
don't
gonna say,
get me
Bird,
wrong.
you seem
I
a little
love the
sad
game.
about that. You seem a little bit
Yeah,
sad. You seem kind of saying that like it's a little bit of the wind out of
game.
your sails.
I love the game. I'm subbed up till God knows when. Well, 8 months from launch at this point. Not 9, because I can't get that last minion.
Is it just that nostalgic Final Fantasy XI horizontal progression?
Yeah, I'm sure some of that is definitely rubbing off on me here. Because 11 was a vertical progression game too, but there was also a big horizontal piece of progression with Final Fantasy XI. And we're just not seeing any of it here. And I'm not under any delusions. I mean, we talked about it many times. This was WoW or Final Fantasy. This was WoW for Final Fantasy fans. You know, it modeled off of World of Warcraft very heavily and grabbed some pieces from some other games to build it. And I'm not complaining. I'm having fun. But it's also very weird, Happy, with the whole Coil and Crystal Tower thing going in here on figuring out exactly what the math sequence is going to be for this vertical progression, because I don't want it to turn into, if it's vertical progression, fine. I don't want content gated by a difficulty spike that isn't a difficulty spike. It's actually a gear spike, and that there's constantly this tier of gear that's missing. And so the ultra-skilled players can do the content with some practice, but everybody else is asked out because they just don't have the gear to it. I don't like that type of gating. Gate it by difficulty, not by taking a tier of gear out. So it's very weird vertical progression for me at the moment.
Well, it's almost, I mean, that's how vertical progression runs. The way what you just said is not with the whole Crystal Tower thing, but the whole gating by gear. That is part of how vertical progression works as a whole in MMOs.
Yeah, but it works as a whole by making you earn/farm the gear. The gear is there. You're gated by the amount of time that it takes to acquire that gear. Between 2.0, 2.1, and 2.2, particularly between release and 2.1 is where it's most noticeable for most players, is how hard Coil was before 2.1. Because there was a tier of gear, the item level 80 stuff, that was just flat out not in the game. You couldn't earn it because it wasn't there. That's a fake gate in my book. If the gear had been there, but you can only get one a week, you can do this like they've done with Crystal Tower, fine. It's gated, but to your one rant that you had, it's gated by time. It's not gated by the fact that it's freaking missing, which is artificial gating in my opinion.
What's going on with 11? Just curious. How's 11 doing?
Vertical progression all the way.
Yeah, it's totally vertical progression now.
Yeah,
really?
item levels and everything.
Yep.
And then trust me, because I've been playing it in some of my spare time. So I've seen, and guess what? Guess what the first shout says? Want to do this X content, needs Y weapon or will not accept.
Wow, really? What's the population like over there right now? Are people still playing?
There are still people playing. I don't know how many servers are up, but I think it's nothing like it used to be. I can't imagine them being even over 60,000 subscribers on the game anymore. I did a see all the other day, and I think there were 600 people online at once. So I'd imagine they maybe, but between Japanese login times and NA and people who have work, I'd imagine they get maybe 2,500 unique logins a day, and that's not including people that are possibly still, guild sellers, which do still exist in that game as well. So they're going. Let's just say that it's enough for it to still be profitable for them to put resources into it. Let's just say that.
All right, there's a ton of other features also. If you guys want, check out the whole write-up on XIV Nation. Go over there. There's a bunch of stuff like fishing teases, vanity system teaser. The bulk of the live letter, though, was focused on the binding Coil of Bahamut. I think Mr. Happy's gonna get all in here. So Coil will now see 4 new turns, and none will be like the waste that is currently turn 3.
Thank
So
God.
What, you don't like
this has-
you don't like Binding Coil Super Mario Edition
Oh my God.
or Star Fox Edition going through rings?
3 is such a waste of time. Every week. Stop
But I love potions.
it. Yeah.
Happy, this got to be good. This got to be good news though for you, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I'm always looking forward to Coil, and I guess you could technically say we're only getting up to Coil 8 if we're going to talk about turns that don't exist or that we wish didn't exist. Technically, we only had 4 turns in patch 2.0, as far as I'm concerned, anyway. So it's equivalent to the amount of content. It's not less. A lot of people saw 4 turns and went, "What the hell is this?"
Right.
We only had 4 turns in 2.0 anyway. As far as I'm concerned, they're just being honest this time.
Turn 3 is a gauntlet that you don't actually have to fight anything, people. Come on.
With potions.
Yeah. There's
What do
a
you guys
potion in there.
What do you guys expect? Where do you expect the difficulty level here? You got this whole weird Coil, then you got Crystal Tower, then you got Coil.
Okay, so I give it, barring any Twister-esque mechanics, 2 at max 3 lockouts before at least 100 people have cleared it. So going on Yoshi P's prediction with 2.0, how less than 100 people are going to clear Coil before the December update, and I'm sure if they had kept Twisters that way, it might have actually been the same. Barring Twister-esque mechanics, I'm going to say within 2 or 3 weeks we have already over that 100 people mark again. From now on, we're going to measure all Coils in 100 people. So same difficulty, basically, as 1 through 5, because 1 through 5 could have definitely been cleared in under 2 or 3 weeks, barring Twister problems.
Oh, problems? No. That was working as intended. No problems.
So turns 1 through 5 are going to be changing then, right? And
Yep.
All right, so this is where the forums started getting a bit concerned.
Yep.
So the weekly lockout will be removed from turns 1 through 5. Does everybody agree that's a good thing?
That's a
Yes,
good thing. That is a good thing.
definitely.
Does removing the lockout cause Crystal Tower to become pointless though?
That we don't know
That's
yet.
the question. Bing! Gary was like, wait a minute. And yes, that is exactly the question. Because if they're removing the lockout, which is currently time-based for Coil 1 through 5, are they going to then institute a gear lockout like Crystal Tower has, where you can only get 1 piece of gear per week? If they don't, and there's truly no lockouts on Coil 1 through 5, yeah, Crystal Tower is pointless. Is if you can get 8 people and that we're going to run Crystal Tower and they're moderately competent with all the other changes that they're going to make, just go do Coil instead. So I think they're going to have to put the same 1 piece of gear per week lock on this, or Crystal Tower is irrelevant until 2.3.
Or the other option, take off Crystal Tower's limit. That is the other option. I mean, and considering we're almost expecting the cap on mythology to be completely removed this patch, without a doubt, completely removed. I mean, is there any point to keep capping it either? Because that's another question that's on everyone's mind.
Well, the thing is, even if you do remove Crystal Tower's loot lock, though, you still have to lock Coil 1 through 5. Otherwise, Crystal Tower is still meaningless. Just because I can get 900 pieces of loot here and 900 pieces of loot here, if the loot is better here, I don't even need to visit this. So either way, Coil 1 through 5 still has to have that loot lock, whether you decide to keep Crystal Tower's loot lock or open it up. See, this is the international symbol for loot lock, and this is the.
I thought that was A-OK.
for not loot lock.
Not anymore.
Right hand is always Coil, left hand is always Crystal Tower. So Final Fantasy players know what I mean right here. This or this is the same thing essentially. So this still needs to be in place.
You're also going to be able to queue up for each turn individually in the Duty Finder.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Which is a great idea.
That's great because Titan Hard mode has still been going also
Yeah,
well.
and don't even put turn 3 in there. I mean,
Is there any
No,
doubt?
come on, man! You don't want the exploring achievement,
right? Or if they tie myth to it, or the new tombstone to your daily turn 3 queue. Oh my god, I would shoot myself. Don't do it. Please don't do that, because then I would have to run it every day. I would feel dirty if I didn't.
So what's the
Please
problem
don't
here?
do
Why what's going on with the why are the players upset about this? I mean, is it just that the content's being nerfed?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggie.
Yeah, it's like it's that whole. It almost goes back to the whole, Twintania thing where it was beaten before it was nerfed, and then it was nerfed, and a lot of groups didn't feel as rewarded. People don't want to beat something after it's been watered down because they feel like they almost feel less accomplished. But the thing is, in my opinion, by the time the new coil comes out, that's the thing to accomplish at that point. And if you're being gated by something that's considered not recent, which you are gated by, you have to be turn 5 to go into turn 6. Cannot do it. Then you're just really prolonging the point where you get to that new content, that act that really feels rewarding and really pushes your character to the maximum. So I think it's a good idea. And I almost wonder why they just didn't even, I guess, I don't know, didn't do it in 2.1, I guess is what I should say.
So you don't really sound concerned about this.
Because most of 2.1's rating content was supposed to be in 2.0. That's why they didn't do it.
Seriously, though. I mean, right? Crystal Tower was supposed to be part of the initial launch. That's why there wasn't this huge nerf that you're noticing now. That just makes sense. I mean, you don't want new players that are just picking up the game now.
Not even the nerf, just the duty finder thing.
To look at turns 6 through 6, 7, 8, and 9 and go, oh man, I'm 3.5 months away from doing that. That's just dumb. You don't want people to do that. Yes, I feel for you that you did it when it was whoever you is, fictional you. You're awesome. You did great. You killed it when it was balls hard. Fantastic. You're proud. Awesome. Good for you. But that doesn't mean that the guy that's picking it up a year and a half from now should also have to crush his face into that for 2 months just to start catching up. I'm sorry. I can't be on that side of this argument. The nerf makes sense.
Yeah.
So neither of you are concerned. You're not concerned, Vern, with any of this?
No. It's something. And honestly, I'm impressed they're even still making it relevant after this patch, that you even have to do turn 5. I guess just for story development and for continuity, but you look at how most MMOs would have handled it, and people would have just skipped it. It would have become completely irrelevant, vanity raid to go do for achievements. So I'm impressed that it's even still relevant.
All right, next up, Yoshi P might be actually giving tanks their own a tank-specific mount. So let me first ask: so either you play a tank?
Yes.
Nope.
Are there a shortage of tanks or something? Like, is there?
My tank characters are level 30. I just opened up the job. That's it. See, I don't necessarily notice a tank shortage as much as other people because I'm part of Game Breaker Nation, which is like 300 player free company. So it's like, hey, need a tank for this. I'll go. There's in that type of environment, I'm sure, Mr. Happy, you're probably similar in your free company. It's, you got 5 tanks that you roll with. Those are your guys, your girls. But when you do use the duty finder as DPS, God, is it brutal. It's really brutal, and it's usually because of the tank class. So there are probably people that are more affected by this than me, but even I can see it. Yes.
Kind of surprised by the tanks. Usually healers are usually in a deficit, but tanks, I don't know. So according to Yoshi P, saying, looking at stats, saying there isn't necessarily a shortage of tanks per se, but there's a huge group of tanks that kind of got stuck sitting at the early 40s and didn't finish leveling.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, you're pretty much case in point.
He might as well have been like, that dude on XIV Reborn has not finished leveling.
He's not finished. He's stuck. P, are you seeing this on legacy servers as well?
Legacy servers, nah. Half the time I try to join party finders just to help people. I go on my warrior because if people are missing anything, the DPS slots, no matter what, fill as quickly as possible. Groups are never missing DPS, and I think we've pretty much grown to expect that in MMOs. Even the healers fill in pretty all right, but I will say this: there is almost always a tank spot. But half the time I go to click that tank spot and it gets filled pretty quickly. So I think it's almost like people want to play it as a last resort. It's like, oh, if I need to get into content because I can't get in as a DPS and I don't need to do it as a DPS,
What's the problem
then
with the
I'll
tank
do it as a
class?
tank.
What's the problem with it? Why is everybody stopping?
People just don't like the responsibility.
No.
That's one
I
big
saw
thing.
that on the forums too. Get the hell out of here.
No, that is a big thing.
I tank in World of Warcraft. I tanked in Ion. Well, yeah, I tanked in there too. I like tanking and healing generally more than DPS, but in Final Fantasy, I tend to favor DPS and then healing, with tank being third. Mainly for one very particular reason: both tanks feel the same. Yes, they have different abilities and different cooldowns when you should use them and things, but on the whole, they both feel the same. And so it doesn't matter which one I play. I'm paladin or warrior, it doesn't matter to me. Where on the other side, healing, there are distinctly different play styles. Not just abilities, but full play styles between white mage and scholar, and then in between all the DPS. I just don't think there's enough variety. The game could really benefit from a third tank class that's maybe an evasion-based tank, something like that. But we're not going to see that anytime soon. I mean, that's a far-off goal, but it could definitely benefit from it.
Please, no evasion tanking. Evasion tanking ruins games. Evasion tanking ruins everything for everybody, because why would you take somebody that takes less damage when you could take somebody that takes no damage? Please don't ever say evasion tanking again.
Evasion tanking is amazing.
Bring me what they originally envisioned Warrior as, a blood tank, where they
Right.
focus mostly on sustaining themselves. They have some necessary defensive cooldowns, but they also very strongly focus on keeping themselves alive. And then they can go solo all the old content they want and put videos on YouTube of that, but at least I know they'll work in the current content.
Well, apparently here's the plan. Not set in stone yet. They're going to wait, keep looking at the stats. They're hoping to see that if this large group, aka Mr. Burn, jumps back in and finishes off his leveling. But if they don't, they are considering adding another job-specific mount, like the White Mage's Unicorn mount. So, I don't know. Does the bribery work? Does the mount bribery work?
No, because all you're going to do is what Mr. Burn did. He's going to level it to the point where he gets the
Shut
mount.
up, man! Don't throw me under the bus like that.
And not play it.
Like
Yeah,
you said, Yoshi P was talking about you.
Yeah. He literally was here. I mean, the only reason I leveled White Mage to 30 was I wanted to unlock all the jobs, and then I wanted to grab that mount too. So I grabbed that mount, and that was 2 months ago. I only started replaying my White Mage 2 or 3 days ago, and that was 2 months ago that I got the.
So having the max level character at that point in your list doesn't make you want to.
Tanks are the very last ones that I intend to get to level 50. I am running the list down right now to get everything to 50, all Disciples of War and Disciples of Magic, but the tanks are the very last right now.
Did the Unicorn mount have an effect in the game? Did it help the game from having healing shortage?
No, I don't think so. I think just White Mage is iconic enough that people wanted to play it. And so we have a lot of White Mages. And then those White Mages and other DPSers were like, I want to heal, but I don't want to be a White Mage. Let me check out Scholar. And the other White Mages said, well, I'll check out Scholar too, because it's the other healing class. So there's a big bulk of healers. No.
Anything else
I don't
they
think
could
the
do
Unicorn
besides
mount had anything to do with it. And that's the problem. Do you lock the mount behind a level like you did with the Conjurer? I don't think that works, because then people just, okay, I got to hit 50. Let me go hit 50. I got the mount. I'm never playing this tank again. It doesn't solve anything. And then people on the forums were saying, well, maybe tie it into the commendation system where you have to tank X number of instances to get your mount. I was like, I'm never getting that mount. No, I am not tanking 300 instances so that I can get a mount. Forget that.
How about they tie mounts to some
what would
new
you tie it behind?
Tie mounts to a new form of spiritual currency that you have to upkeep and keep playing your character, and you feed it your mount.
We call that the
feeds
fatigue system. We call that the fatigue system, and we're never doing it again.
I'm calling it the spiritual feeding system. And if you don't play, your mount
like
dies.
Alex Online, where you don't have to anymore, but you have to feed your horse to advance them. Oh my god.
But your feeding would come through playing.
Don't do that. Yeah, the only way to get food for your mouth was to tank something.
This is Yu Yu Hakusho spirit stuff. Let's get out of this.
I hope
Alright,
Square is not watching at all.
It's the opposite. That's the opposite of the fatigue system, and that didn't work. And this isn't going to work.
All right, let's move on. PlayStation 4 dates are all set. We now know that the PS4 beta starts February 22nd. We've known that for quite a while now, but Live Letter 12 also dropped a bunch of additional PS4 info. First off, pre-orders are already live, correct?
Yep, went live yesterday.
You got your CE already lined up there, Mr. Byrne?
I do.
Of course you do. Nope.
There's absolutely no reason for me to be spending this money. Not one piece of information.
So why are you? What is it? You're just
Because
such a
I'm
fanboy?
dumb. I'm not very
I'm
smart.
dumb.
I'm just not very smart, I guess. Yeah.
There's both. There's the digital and the physical collector set, like the PS.
Yeah,
the PC.
The physical
PS3
collector set comes with all the physical items that the PS3 collector set came with. So you're still getting the book and the
So
DVD
which one did you buy?
and all that stuff. I bought the physical. The box art looks
If he
amazing.
bought the digital, I would have laughed at him because
No,
he doesn't even get duplicates of what he wanted. He just
But there are like new digital things in the PlayStation 4 one, so that's
like
cool.
what kind of extras are you getting?
You get a fat chocobo mount, and then you get the minion of minions, the Mongol minion.
Oh, the fat chocobo mount's actually kind of cool.
yeah, it's kind of mean though because they're dangling food in front of his face and he can't reach it.
That's kind of awesome.
I mean, just throw him on a treadmill then.
There you go.
So, Gary, here's the part that you're gonna laugh at me for now. I didn't have to buy this to get these.
What?
Nope. Did not have to buy it.
If you own any previous collector's edition, you will automatically get these when the PlayStation 4 version launches.
Yeah.
So how much did you spend on this?
It was like 60 or 70
So
something.
for what? Because
It's
you want
okay.
the boxes.
It's okay.
The
Oh,
box
you
art
want the
is
box
amazing.
at PS4? You want this thing to say PS4? That's
the
it?
box art is incredible.
Are you gonna pay for your next 60 days to get your minion with the game time cards and collect those too?
Right. I wanted the game time cards when they were first announced simply because of the art on them.
Even if you have to pay more?
Shut up. What's the matter, Gary? Don't give me that look. Don't give me Dude,
Gary's already destroyed
you
one
own a
and now he wants
Warhammer
to destroy
collector
another.
set. I don't even want to hear it. You own a Warhammer
Yeah, I bought one,
collector
and
set.
I wanted to play the game. I didn't buy 8 copies of it, like in every freaking.
So here's the other part of why you don't need to buy it. And if you have the PlayStation 3, you can upgrade to the PlayStation 4 for free. So that you can.
It's a
play
one-time. It's a one-time upgrade, though.
It's a one-time upgrade, and you can't play on your PlayStation 3 anymore.
Hey, Brian,
but
can I
if
borrow
you're
some
a
money? Because apparently you've got plenty of it. You want to send some money over? Figure
Right,
get-
and the game
I don't
time
like-
cards
I don't like
are
these-
coming to
I'm
North
not loving these
America
bezels
now.
No, they're,
anymore.
yeah, they're
I
out now.
Yeah,
wanna
they're
get rid
already
of-
out on Amazon.
I want to get rid of these
So-
bezels, so I need some new screens back here. We're gonna get those like nice.
So yeah, I already have the PlayStation 3 version, which means when it launches, I could upgrade to the PlayStation 4 version for free one time and play on that instead of my PlayStation 3 from now on. But see, now I don't have to, right? I could play on my computer, my PlayStation 4, or my PlayStation 3. $140 to get it for both systems, well worth it, right?
Can you make a video of
Right?
you playing all three at the same time? Can you have like one PS3
No,
controller?
I could do two. I could do two because I would have to be on Japan servers and NA servers. I can't do three at the same time.
Why get another
Not with
account?
Not with one account. No, I'm not
another
paying for
account.
another account. What do you think? I got money just falling out of my pocket?
Yes.
Oh, one would never think that. You would never.
Look, there's a lot of people in chat. Don't even make fun of me. And Happy, you're gonna buy it too. Shut up.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I
you are.
don't even have
You
a
so
PlayStation
are.
4 yet because
There's
there's no
people in
games on
chat
that thing.
are like, "Hey, I'm with you, Burn. Art for the win. I'm gonna be doing that too. I'm gonna have to buy that too. I'm the same way, Burn. Yeah,
Cool.
see,
I would
Way to go,
literally, I would
chat.
literally rather buy an empty box off Amazon that for like $10 than buy another collector's edition.
Oh, I think you literally wanted to buy an empty box, like just a cardboard box, just like a plain
No, I
brown.
meant-
I'd rather buy a plain brown. Here, Brian, I'll say that you want to buy this Guild Wars 2 Infinite Cloud box.
No,
Actually-
but I want your metronome.
I'll actually give you stuff that's in it.
No, I want your Guild Wars metronome though. I'll buy that.
All right.
And apparently
9
I'll buy it 4 times if you put it in a different box each time.
I'll break it into 4 parts. You got to buy each part. I'll say the little door on the front. I'll say the thing that swings.
All I
back
have
and
to
forth.
say, Mr. Byrne, is there we go. This is the first of 2 that I bought.
It's upside down, ass.
Doesn't matter. You know what? I'm gonna leave it like that because that represents my thought. It's a 1.0. There you go.
You're from Alda? Is that what it said?
Yeah. Given name Michael. Surname. Not gonna do that right now. Race, Rogadin, Clan, Seawolf, name date, 27th son of the 6th Umbral Moon, gender, male, and the issuing authority was the Royal Treasury. I wonder if the DMV would accept this. I think I'm royalty.
It'd be great. Hook yourself with some GoPros and go try and get a license with that. That'd be awesome. All right, so release date April 14th.
Where were you born? Limsa Laminsa.
Yes.
Yeah. It's off the UK.
April 14th release date. Pretty close to the release date of another MMORPG.
Yes, it is.
10 days after the Elder Scrolls Online.
Yes, it is. But I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, Final Fantasy's technically out, so
Yeah.
what you gonna do?
Just whatever, you know. The only thing is, the only reason for comparison is Elder Scrolls is going to be console as well. So, 2 console releases, console MMO releases, I guess.
Well, they're only doing the PC launch initially.
Oh, they're only
On
doing
the
the PC
14th,
launch?
yeah.
Oh,
Elder
14th
Scrolls is
is
only the
PC.
PC launch, yeah.
oh,
So-
okay. Well, that's. I
And
didn't know
apparently,
that.
the only copies that Square's going to be selling are to people like Byrne, who are going to be buying their 19th copy of the game, so they have nothing to worry
Yeah,
about.
the audience is really tiny for this.
Or
release,
people who
so-
wanted a new UI as well, who didn't want to play the PS3 version for that reason.
Right, but you might just upgrade for like a normal person and just call it a day.
Like a normal person. Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't like doing this show anymore.
All right, let's do some
It's
viewer
okay.
questions. If you guys have questions, send them into submit at gamebreaker.tv. Send in video questions. We love video questions. Record yourself, put it on YouTube, and keep it about 30 to 60 seconds. Shoot us the link, and we will play it on the show. First up, Steven wants to know, when am I going to get my 3rd retainer?
Question mark.
Yeah, good question.
That is a good question. Thank you for the question.
Thanks for
It's
the
not going to
question.
be 2.2.
It's not going to be 2.2. No, unless they come
No.
out and surprise us in March. That's always a possibility, but I don't see it happening.
No.
All right, next up, this one in from-
I think it's 2.3.
Alan Westbrook. This one's more of a happy question here. Since I have only an hour of content each week with T1 through 5, what game should I play while I'm waiting for 2.2?
Dude, Mr. Happy, you don't even have that hour anymore. You got your Allegan weapon.
No, I
So
still
you-
got that. I extended mine by doing Coil twice per week, every week with 2 different characters. I could always make a 3rd one, do it 3 hours a week. But I don't know. Take the time, and I think this is good health for any MMO player. Doesn't matter what MMO you're playing. Play some of those single-player games that are coming out for the consoles or on Steam. Play those, man. There's a lot of good games that MMO players miss just because they're so dedicated to playing an MMO almost all the time. And just any game, even games that you may have missed over the years, just play something single player. Get your mind off of the whole social thing of the MMOs. Mix it up.
I'm on turn 4 right now with my raid group, and yeah. So in between, I'm playing the Secret World and the Secret World and Guild Wars 2. So I don't take Mr. Happy's advice. I buy single-player games, and they sit on my hard drive or on the shelf here, and I play other MMOs.
I have a better idea. Go over to GameBreaker TV and go watch This Week in Steam. New episodes up. Broken Age. Check out Octodad. Looks amazing. Here you go. There's 4
You know what?
games every.
Octodad is awesome.
Yeah, Octodad.
So-
You know what? You could also go buy another copy of Final Fantasy XIV and play it with Mr. Byrne.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
you could with your feet.
Asses.
From level 1 all over again.
Last up, this one from Seth Daly says, if I want to avoid queuing for randoms every day, which instance is best for group farming for a new 50 to get gear these days?
2 words. Wanderers Palace. It has been the best in 2.0, and if you're still looking to grind one dungeon over and over again, it's still the best one.
Not the town.
And when you're able to do the
Wanderers.
hard mode, Hoke Manor becomes the one you can run very quickly.
Not Wanderers Town.
See, no, that's the key. This is the township. It's different. It's
Well,
different.
that's Hawk Manor.
Township.
Now we need Hawk. We need Hawk. What's outside?
Hawk Backyard.
Hawk Backyard. There we go.
See, now you guys have been running Hoke Manor. This is Hoke Backyard. Totally different. There's a pool out here.
Pull back.
Michael Paul Romo, follow him on Twitter at Mr. Happy1227. Of course, go over to his YouTube channel. Check out all his Final Fantasy XIV content over there as well. Always a pleasure, sir. Michael Byrne, follow him on Twitter at Magic Man with the double N and a 1. And of course, right here on Game Breaker on this and a bunch of other shows like After Dark and more to come. Follow me at Game Breaker TV. Follow Gary Gannon. Come over to Facebook.com. Check out our new show, Game Breaker, as well. We got a new show called Game Breaker, the show. It's a lot of fun. It's myself, Pat Crane, and Coltrane. Tons of fun. And we do the show live every Tuesday at 4 PDT. So come on over for the live show, and we'll see you next week for some more XIV Reborn every weekend.